All right. I was supposed to do this at 5 o'clock in the morning. However, um, things came up and I got busy. And so here I am right now. So hopefully, you'll be able to see this whenever you get a chance to do it. So today, like you do, we're gonna do a cards passage. And let me get to it right now. Share screen. So yeah, it says it's an AAMC style passage. I haven't seen the MCAT exam, but I trust that they are correctly describing this passage. Today's passage has 6 questions. It is labeled Bunraku, okay? I think it's a theater. The subject is theater. And they have a passage analysis if you want to go watch it. If you want to read this yourself faster, and then go through the questions together, then you can just mute me and then just unmute the video when I get to the questions. Okay, so let's read the passage now. The puppets of Bunkaroo Theater are from 3 to 5 feet in height. They are little men or women with movable limbs, hands, and mouth. Each puppet is worked by 3 men who remain in view, surrounding, supporting, and accompanying it. The principal operator controls the upper part of the doll and its right arm. His face is visible, smooth, clear, impassive, cold, like a white onion, freshly faced. The 2 assistants are clad in black, their faces hidden by a piece of cloth. The first, gloved but the thumb exposed, holds a large scissor mechanism with which he operates the doll's left arm and hand. The second, crawling along on his knees, supporting the body, make it walk. These men move about along a low trench which leaves them unconcealed. The scenery is behind them as at the theater. With us in the West, the puppet punch, for example, is there to hold up to the actor the mirror of his opposite, a character of life. It affirms precisely thereby life's moral limits and serves to confine beauty, truth, and emotion in the living body of the actor, who nevertheless makes the body a lie. Western puppets look alive only to emphasize that they are not, that they are purely inanimate matter that someone is manipulating. Bunraku, on the other hand, does not copy the actor, it rids us of him. How? The puppets move in an artificial manner, emphasizing that they are not alive. This makes them seem more natural within their artificial world. When the Bunraku puppet points with its arm, the gesture is stiffer than that of the Western puppets or actors. By being so stiff, it looks unreal, looks more like a point. Beneath a living and natural outward appearance, the Western actor maintains the division of his body and consequently the food of our fantasies. We notice the movement of a single eyebrow or the slight sway of his walk. Acting naturally, he acts artificially. The Western marionette, too, as is evident in Punch, is a byproduct of this fantasy of natural acting. As reduction, a granting reflection with an adherence to the human order, ceaselessly recalled by a caricatured simulation. It lives not as a total body, totally vibrating, but as a rigid portion of the actor, of whom it is an emanation. As automaton, it is again a fragment of movement, a start, a jolt, essence of discontinuity, fractured projection of bodily gestures. It may well be that Japanese marionette retains something of this fantasy origin. The art of banraku, however, endows it with a different meaning. Banraku does not aim at animating an inanimate object in such a way as to bring to life a piece of body, a scrap of man, while preserving its vocation as part. It is not the simulation of the body that it is after, but as it were, its concrete abstraction, acting unnaturally, moving as a fake through a clearly and only fake world. The Banraku puppet inhabits its world more fully, more naturally. Everything which we attribute to a total body and which is refused to our actors under pretense of a living organic unity is taken up and stated without any falsehood by the Banraku puppet. And the original is Roland Barthes. That's the title of the original piece was Lesson in Writing, written in 1977. Okay, so the first question, the point the author makes about Banraku puppets is most analogous to another analogy. Let's see how I do at the analogy today because I did not get it yesterday. So the point the author makes about Banraku puppets is most analogous to the belief that talking animals are better depicted in cartoons than in live action movies. Could be, because what I got was that the American ones are kind of like they're realistic, but they seem odd, kind of like uncanny. However, these Banraku puppets, they seem natural in their environment, because they're not too real looking. And their movements are also not too real looking, and cartoons would probably do that. Live action movies, however, make it look like a human, right? The idea that artists should see all forms of performance as lying to an audience. The argument that anthropologists can only understand a culture by immersing themselves in it. An analogy, okay. The claim that movie acting is more directly inspired by marionette acts than by stage acting. I don't know. Okay, let's pick this one. Let's see. That is correct. Okay, this is correct because the point about Banraku puppets is that they appear more natural because they are unnatural objects deployed in an unnatural world because their fakeness is emphasized, not mitigated. Similarly, talking animals are unnatural and so are better in an art form that appears unnatural, cartoons, rather than one that pretends to be natural, live action movies. Okay. Let's go to the next one. The discussion of Western actors includes the assumption that puppeteers think like actors when manipulating their puppets. Naturalness is an artificial construct that only applies to actors. Okay, so Western actors. So with us in the West, the punch, for example, Western actors, okay, is there to hold up, punch, for example, is there to hold up the actor, the mirror of his opposite, a caricature of life. It affirms precisely thereby life's moral limits and serves to confine beauty, truth, and emotion in the living body of the actor. He who nevertheless makes of that body alive. Western puppets look alive only to emphasize that they are not, that they are purely inanimate matter that someone is manipulating. The Western marionette, too, as is evident Fetch, is a byproduct of this fantasy of natural acting as reduction, a granting reflection, granting reflection granting reflection with an adherence to the human order, ceaselessly recalled by a charactered simulation. It lives not as a total body, totally vibrating, but as a rigid portion of the actor, of whom it is an emanation as automated. Couldn't say. Okay, puppeteers think like actors when manipulating their puppets. It doesn't really. Well, they're the opposite. Well, think like. Naturalness is an artificial construct that only applies to actors. What is natural is conceptual, not bodily. Natural bodily movements are not isolatable. He who nevertheless makes of that body a lie. When Western puppets look alive, only to emphasize that they are not, that they are purely inanimate matter that someone is manipulating. Natural body movements are not isolatable. Sorry. What is natural is conceptual, not bodily. The discussion of Western actors includes the assumption that this is difficult. I don't isolatable are like you can't reproduce it. One cannot reproduce natural bodily movements. They're okay. Puppeteers think like actors when manipulating their puppets. They could. Okay, look. When the Banraku puppet points with its arm, the gesture is stiffer than that of Western puppets or actors. By being so stiff, it looks unreal, it looks more like a point. Beneath a living and natural outward appearance, the Western actor maintains the division of his body and consequently the food of our fantasies. We notice the movement of a single eyebrow or a slight sway of his walk. Acting naturally, he acts artificially. The Western marionette, too, is a byproduct of the fantasy of natural acting. As reduction, a crafting, a grading reflection with an adherence to human order, ceaselessly recorded by a charactered simulation. It lives not as a total body, totally vibrating, but as a rigid portion of the actor, whom it is an emanation, an automaton. It is again a fragment of movement, a start, a jolt, essence of discontinuity, fractured projection of bodily gestured. Okay. Well, they are thinking like actors, right? Because they're trying to make it look real. But in doing so, they make it look unreal. I'm not sure. Oh, my first guess was correct, but majority of the people picked A. Why is D correct? This is correct because one can deduce this from the example of naturalness, that is, that the paragraph provides all isolated bodily movements like a single eyebrow raise. This is reinforced when the paragraph discusses what is natural movement in puppets as a reduction of human action. Okay, hence it's not. Why is it not A? The passage discusses how puppets mimic actors, but paragraph 4 does not discuss how actors or puppeteers think. Okay. According to the passage, which of the following decisions by a movie director would most clearly help make a movie's actors appear like they naturally inhabit their world? Create a set that resembles a movie studio. Use scripts that rely heavily on symbolism. Film the actors without their knowledge. Have the actors move stiffly and suddenly. So they have to be in their natural environment, right? Since they're actors, they're going to be in the movie studio. Hmm, that's correct. Okay, but all right, so why is it correct? This is correct because the passage suggests that Banraku puppets move more naturally through their world. Because they match their world, they look fake and inhabit a fake world. Similarly, one could argue that by placing actors in a world that is as fake as they are, the actors would appear to more naturally inhabit their world. Yep. Fourth question. The passage discussion of Western puppets in paragraph 2 assumes which of the following? Paragraph 2, we read it before. With us in the West, a puppet punch, for example, there's a hold. Okay, mirror opposite, a character of life. It affirms precisely thereby life's moral limits and serves to confine beauty, truth, and emotion in the living body of the actor, he who nevertheless makes of that body alive. Western puppets look alive only to emphasize that they're not, that they are purely inanimate matter that someone is manipulating. Okay, so a good puppeteer can make a puppet feel more lifelike during a show. Viewers see a puppet as the puppeteer's tool during a puppet show. Viewers are more interested in the puppeteer than in the puppet. It is possible to control puppets in ways that hide the puppeteer's presence. No, it doesn't. D is completely wrong. From passage 2. Yeah, a good puppeteer can make a puppet feel more lifelike during a show. Tool, I don't think they would see as a tool. Tool to what? Tool for what? Nah. Oh man, it was a tool. This is correct because the author states that Western puppets are meant to look like they are being manipulated. Oh, okay. Wow. The passage describes an irony of Bunraku theater, namely that the more fake the puppeteers appear, the more real the puppets seem. Audiences can interpret jerky Bunraku puppet actions more easily than smooth Western puppet actions. By being visible, Bunraku theater puppeteers do not disrupt their show. Bunraku puppets look especially artificial but feel alive to viewers. No. The irony. I would say they're visible, right? Yeah, I mean, they're visible, but the attention is really on the Bunraku puppets. Let's see. It's correct. Okay. So this is correct because keeping the puppeteers visible is one way the Bunraku puppets emphasize that they are not alive, which in turn makes it easier to watch the puppets on their own terms, not as extension of the puppeteer, but as natural within their own world. This is as close to the main idea. Well, yeah, we didn't. The main idea, we didn't read it. The main idea was Bunraku puppets emphasize that they are not alive to appear more natural. Okay, so last question now. Why does the author most likely cite a description of a Bunraku puppeteer's face as a white onion freshly washed? No expression. To establish that part of the world of puppeteers are from, to suggest that the puppeteers are supposed to be ignored, to imply that the puppeteers resemble the puppets, to highlight how unreal the art form is, to suggest that the puppeteers are supposed to be ignored. White onion. So let's look at where that is. Each puppet is worked by 3 men who remain in view, surrounding, supporting, and accompanying it. The principal operator controls the upper part of the doll and its right arm. His face is visible, smooth, clear, impassive, cold, like a white onion freshly washed. Okay, the 2 assistants. Okay, these men move about along a low trench which leaves them unconcealed. The scenery is behind them, as at the theater. With us in the West. Okay. So your options are for this to establish what part of the world puppeteers are from. To imply that the puppeteers resemble the puppets? No, I think that's the opposite. To highlight how unreal the art form appears. I don't know. This is what I could get out of them. Can't make sense of any of the other ones. Incorrect. Oh my God. Okay. So to highlight how unreal the art form appears. This is correct because it's closest to the pass's main idea. Okay, I keep forgetting I have to stick to the pass's main idea. The unreal appearance of the puppeteers coupled with their visibility suggests that Bunraku theater does not try to hide its artificiality. All right, well, kind of bummed that I didn't get that, but it's all right. So tomorrow I will attempt, I think for sure I have a very busy day after, so I'm going to try to do this, definitely do this in the morning at 5 o'clock, because that would be the best for me. Otherwise, I am not going to be able to do a lot of things that I have planned. As for the other streams that I've been trying to do, the study with me, my study time, even though I might end up studying for long hours, probably like 8 hours or sometimes even 12 hours, my study time is quite fragmented, and sometimes like it's on the train or the bus or on the kitchen table or in the car, and that's because I have children, I'm a mother and it gets busy, so I'm not entirely, I don't entirely have like time periods where I would be continuously be able to record. And the other thing is also that I'm recording on my phone. I don't have a camera, so that I record with, so that kind of puts some limits. And then, of course, it's not live, so pre-recording it and then putting it all together takes time. So, I'm prioritizing definitely the studying, as anybody else should if they're studying for the MCAT, because I'm writing my exam in June. I've already delayed it once. I was supposed to write it in February. So, once I figure out a better uh, schedule for myself and gather sort of like an idea of how I can make it work, then I can probably do it. But again, it's tentative. The study schedule is quite tentative. Anyways, see you tomorrow to do another course question. Bye.